Hello and welcome to the Near Dark Podcast, episode 66. And today we're gonna be talking about Maniac, the remake. So let's present the Near Dark crew. We've got Cracky and Angel. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, I have chocolate.
Duh.
What the fuck was that?
Someone having an
Maybe
aneurysm?
Yeah,
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well.
That's good, that's good.
Yeah.
I was just shutting the door. I'm good. The weather is really nice. And
It's stupidly warm over here.
well, yeah, it is. But I like warm weather.
Pass.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm quite excited to talk about Maniac. So
Yeah.
Like, to me, when it goes over 20 Celsius, it's way too hot. But that's just me. I'm a warm person, so...
I think around 20-25 is the best. It's like the ideal.
I think it's like 26, right?
26, 27, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially where the sun is laying on.
Yeah.
The worst thing with this heat is that kids are outside and they're screaming, and these kids are screaming for no fucking reason. I talked with one of our neighbors earlier this week, and she said, like, if someone was killing these kids, like, no one would care because they're screaming like they're being killed. She moved in about a year ago, and she's like, yeah, so you heard the kids screaming. I went outside because I thought something was going on, and they're just screaming their lungs out. And I'm like, yeah. Even I would my headphones cancel out sounds pretty well. Even I can hear it. It's like, brah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to add in the sound like, brah. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And that's unfortunately it's pretty common in like I guess like middle-aged family areas. It's like that over here too at times.
Yeah. I mean, it's like this yard is a like a family orientated apartment area. So it's like families with kids and like from diapers to most of them are I think 6 or 7, and then there's just like grannies and grandpas and oh wait, yeah, that's perfect for Josef to move here since he's he's old enough to be a granddad. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Let's move on, because no one likes kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Meanwhile,
So.
Karen with 5 kids listening.
Anyway, do we have any recently seen?
Yep.
Yes. Should I go first? But,
Yeah.
I watched a couple of things, but
Ladies first, so go on, Josef.
oh, fuck right off. Like I said, I've been watching a couple of things, but most of them are just a blur because I've been super busy since we last recorded, so I don't remember much of most of them. But I thought I could mention at least 2 of them. The first one is Cam from I think 2018. I think
Yeah,
you've seen it, Angel.
Yep, I did.
What are your thoughts on that one?
I like the idea because it's new thinking, and the whole like cam girl scene is very untouched in horror, so I like that. The plot was not that good, or it could probably have been executed better, and the ending was could have been better. I didn't particularly like it, but it's like a okay watch on a slow Sunday.
Okay. The story in Cam is that it's about this Cam girl who tries to get up in the ranks on the website she's camming on, and one day when she wakes up, she realizes that someone has hacked her account, and this someone looks exactly like her. The premise of the movie is good in my opinion. It could have been really good, but oh man, I hated this movie. Oh God, Jesus Christ in heaven. I just thought it was so fucking bland and boring, and the whole movie just nothing really gets answered throughout the movie. It's just like the entire movie is just vague for the sake of being vague, and it's I can see where they're coming from with the whole what the fuck kind of concept of the film. And sure, I can appreciate movies like that, but I just found Cam so fucking dull. I didn't like it at all. And I don't think you've seen that one, or it's a Netflix production.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I thought for a second I was gonna check it out, but I guess I won't.
Yeah. Well, it's a big thumbs down from me, at least. And the second thing I'm just gonna touch upon, which I think both of you should check out, is Zack Snyder's latest movie. It was released in select theaters and on Netflix, like, I think it was
beginning of this week.
No, it was Friday last week. Army of the Dead.
It's been out there long.
Ah, yeah.
Zack Snyder is the guy who did 300 and Justice League and Watchmen, and he also did the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead. So it's his return to the zombie genre. The movie is about this group of mercenaries that get sent into Las Vegas after a zombie outbreak has occurred there. Because they're gonna steal 200, I think it was $250 million from a vault under one of the casinos. And that's basically the premise of the film. It's almost 2.5 hours long, but there are a lot of action in it, and a lot of gore, and some darkly humor in there as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I read a lot of negative reviews of it, but I thought it was a lot of fun. So some of the subplots could have been skipped, but overall, I thought it was a high octane zombie action movie, and I got what I wanted, and it entertained me.
I've seen a lot of people talk about it on Facebook this past week. So I'm like, alright, I added it to my list. I'm gonna watch it eventually, just to see like what the big fuss is about. And yeah,
it's more of an action movie than a horror movie, but if you just for just to make an example, if you take the Dawn of the Dead remake and amp it up like 4 levels and put in more action and stretch out the running time with about 45 more minutes, then you have Army of the Dead. And if you add a pinch of humor in there as well. Have you catched it? Okay.
No, I haven't watched it, but I'm going to. I just haven't I gotten around to it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I watched more, but that's what I can remember, really.
Okay. What about you, Angel?
Oh yeah. All right. So we're gonna be here for like 2 hours.
Okay.
So I watched Mom's Night Out, a weird like newer comedy that I gonna recommend. I watched Conjuring. First time watch for my boyfriend.
Oh, what did you think?
He liked it. He actually really he did like it, and I still like it. It's still good. And I showed him original Pet Cemetery.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't remember what he thought about it, but we gave a lot of cynical commentary over the movie. And like for me, that I've already watched it several times. I want to say everything before it happens, but I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here, quiet, enjoy the movie, enjoy his experience. It's like, yeah.
I think the original has at least hit me more in the feels than the remake.
Yeah.
You know, during the
definitely.
the big accident.
Yeah. Like, I definitely think it's worse. I did also explain to him the difference between the movie and the book and the guilty feelings for the father and stuff like that. We're probably gonna talk about Pet Cemetery at some point.
Yeah.
I gave Your Next a second chance because Josef has been babbling on about it and be like, you should rewatch it. And I'm like, all right. I had a boring day. I'm like, okay.
I have. I can't remember that.
It was earlier during. I had watched a home invasion movie, and you brought up Your Next, and you're like, oh, you should rewatch it. You should give it a second chance. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I watched it. I still don't like it.
On the next episode on Near Dog Podcast, you're next.
But comparing it, like I said, to what's it called? Hide and Seek. Your Next is definitely better.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Hide and Seek.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
Like comparing them side by side, Your Next is actually better. Then I watched a movie called Antidote. What's it called? This is actually a horror.
Antidote. I recognize the name.
It's from 2001, made by Peter Daskalov. It's basically a movie about purgatory. I do not recommend it. It was very boring, and basically halfway through the movie you can start to see like what this is about, and it's just meh.
Where it's going.
Yeah. It's like you can basically see the end plot by the mid mark. Then I actually had this pin for a while, Jerusalem with a C. It is like it's a found footage.
What was the name of it?
Jerusalem, like the city.
Okay.
but it's a C, like a zebra rather than an S.
Oh, okay.
I think you would have liked you would like it, Joseph, but it's very slow and the characters are just not likable. But it gave me the interest that I want to go and see Jerusalem at some point because it seems to be a very pretty city. Other than that, it was Sunday boring movie basically. I watched a feel-good comedy from 2000 called The Good Witch. How to Be a Player, Eddie Murphy, I believe. Also,
is that a newer one or?
no, it's early 2000s player comedy. I binge watched like 3 comedies in a row, and I watched Shallow Hell, and my reaction to that one is, I really like it. Like, it's a Jack Black movie. It's really good in my opinion. But if it would have been released today or within the past 3 to 4 years, it would have gotten such a fat backlash because of the fat positivity community, I believe.
Movement.
Yeah, movement. Yeah, because what it's about is a guy called Hal, and he's really shallow, and like he's not pretty or handsome or whatever. Like he's not hot, but he only goes for quote unquote tens, and he meets this magician that basically gets him to see that what's on the inside.
Is it that one called Min stora kärlek in Sweden?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I saw that like a year after it was released. I remember it being hilarious.
It is great. Like, it's typical early 2000s comedy, and it's... yes. We need more comedy like that. Especially with Jack Black. Like, dumb comedy, not over-the-top comedy.
Yeah.
And then, another horror. I introduced my boyfriend to Insidious.
Oh.
It's a 4th time watch for me. I still think it's good. It actually still got me at certain points, and he was so tired at parts. He fell asleep. Like when the movie cools down and it's a little bit slow, he actually fell asleep.
In all honesty, I don't like the first Insidious. I much more enjoyed the second one. The third one was okay, but I thought the first one was. Perhaps I just had a bad day while I was watching. I don't know. I just thought it was too slow.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree that the first one is too slow. Like, they could definitely speed it up. But I think, like, the whole series, all 4 movies, I like all of them. I like some a little bit less, some a little bit more, but I still think it's a good movie. Then I watched a movie from I think it was 1980 or 1970. The Channeling. Yeah, 1980.
The Channeling.
Yeah, The Channeling.
Yeah, that's from 1980, I think.
It is way, like, it's too slow of a burn. I didn't really like it. I lost interest several times watching the movie. I just saw, like, the poster and was like, oh yeah, I should probably watch this.
And Ogge,
No.
I guess you don't know what that is. It's a slow burn ghost movie from the early 80s.
Okay. I see.
It's, yeah.
Oh, no, never mind.
Then we watched Conjuring 2.
Oh, that movie is the best movie-going experience I've ever had.
It was great
so-
seeing it in the theaters.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
What's it called? He liked it. I think he knows what the nun is or something because he didn't really react the way I thought he was gonna react. He did like it. He didn't have a lot of comments on it though. But yeah.
Orion.
Yeah, Orion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like any classic or really good horror movie, I've watched with him. And it's I want to watch them to show him what it is, and get his reaction on a movie I like. So yeah.
You should start to watch shitty movies with him just to torture him.
Oh yeah, you mean like The Bleeder?
Oh yeah, oh god.
I'll come next episode and be like, yeah, we broke up. It was The Bleeder. He couldn't take it anymore. Then I watched, there's just a few more. I watched some comedies again. Boys and Girls, early romantic comedy. Pass. The only reason I watched it was because I saw that the guy from American Pie, he plays the main character in the first one. He has the funny dad.
Yeah, he's the main character in the first 3, I think. He's in a Reunion as well.
Yeah, he was in it, and I was like, oh, that is probably going to be a good movie. It wasn't.
Okay.
And then I saw, because I was browsing comedies, and I saw 1,000 Words, and I really liked that one. I watched it once before, and I still like it.
What type of movie is it?
It's like a comedy, I think comedy drama, I would say. 1,000 Words. So it's about this movie agent, comedy drama, that he babbles on and on and on and on and on. Like, he doesn't let anyone else talk, he doesn't really care for his family, and he goes to get this movie deal with he seems like a Buddhist kind of person that has written a book, and karma basically comes and bites him in the ass, and a tree shows up in his backyard, and every time he speaks, the leaves falls off. I believe it's Eddie Murphy that plays the main actor in that one too. Yeah. It's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a main role in that.
Yeah, no.
If it's a very talkative role.
Oh, yeah. I like it. You should give it a try. If you like have a lazy day where you don't really want to watch anything, you have to think while watching. And I actually didn't plan on being in this recording because I'm having an awful day. So we watched Resident Evil last night instead of watching Maniac together. Because I want him to see the Resident Evil movies. And my comments on that one is, now it's so old that everyone probably has watched it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it before I start talking about it. Okay, so everyone that hasn't watched it, you're watching it, so now I can talk about it. I do not understand why the main focus is basically this person Alice, when they have Jill, Chris, and Leon that are icons basically for Resident Evil.
I know why. The director Paul W.S. Anderson, he's pretty well known for making video game movies. He directed the Mortal Kombat movie from 1995, amongst others. He and Mila Jovovich, who plays Alice, is married.
Yeah, I do know
Um,
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So he basically, and he has done this in other movies. He has directed as well. Uh, he basically has written the role for his wife, and that's really the only reason.
Yeah.
So
What's it called? I was talking with my boyfriend about this after we watched the movie, and he said, "Oh well, she's married to the
W.S.
producer.
Anderson.
Yeah, so that's probably why she is the main character and not Jill, Chris, or Leon." I'm like, maybe, yeah,
That's at least the common theory
yeah.
around it.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, he thought it was okay. Didn't have a lot to say about it.
I think the first W.S. Anderson Resident Evil movie is pretty good actually.
Yeah, no, like
Um,
I definitely think it's good.
If you don't take the games into account, I think the whole series is pretty good up until the last movie, which basically starts. It feels like we've missed like 45 minutes
Yeah,
of the film when the last movie starts.
yeah,
But the first one, I think that's pretty good.
yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a good movie, and like we're gonna sit through the whole series. Yes, so he has seen it at some point. I still think it's pretty good. Like when I turn off my brain and like it has nothing to do with the games, I enjoy it more. Yeah.
Have you seen the CGI movies, by the way?
I have seen some of them, I believe. Like, I think we watched them at some point.
Degeneration, Damnation, and Vendetta.
Yeah. We were having a Resident Evil movie marathon and we watched them at somewhere in between there.
Yeah. There's an upcoming Netflix series called Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, and like the CGI movies, it will be canon to the games. And there will be a reboot in, I think, September called Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, and it will be based on Resident Evil 2.
Alright.
So we'll get a lot of Resident Evil this year.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the last movie I had to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ogge, have you watched anything of note?
Yeah, I watched the second season of Love, Death and Robots.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
I haven't gotten around to watch the first season yet, but I know they've released the second season.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been planning on watching it at some point because I did watch the first season. I thought it was pretty good. I had no idea that they were coming out with the second season.
Yeah, I think it came out this week. It's very fresh.
Mm.
And well, it's just the same as the first season, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Why fix something that isn't broken?
Yeah, exactly. And after watching it, I wanted more. So, yeah.
Gonna try to get that rolling, I think.
Yep.
yeah.
We've been here for like half an hour talking about recently seen.
Yeah.
That's how we roll, motherfucker. Should we roll the trailer for the Maniac remake then?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's roll the trailer.
Okay, here it is then.
So, what do you do? Are you an artist?
I don't know about all that. Maybe you can tell me. I see you too. I have a surprise for you.
Please! Help me!
Please don't scream. You're so beautiful.
It's amazing. I love them.
Sometimes I think that they have more personality than most people.
So what does your girlfriend think of your work?
I don't have a girlfriend.
You never feel lonely?
That's why I was calling.
You and Anna are a perfect fit.
You know, hair is the only part of the body that lasts forever. Why are you scared? What? They will never understand. As long as you keep a secret. But if you can't, you'll be alone. You hear that? A lot of you. Alone.
Okay, so the Maniac. It's a story about. Well, the story is pretty simple. It's about a maniac that murders women. That's pretty much the entire story.
Wow, the plot description.
But it's true.
Well, I'm not saying that you're lying.
Yeah.
No,
Well, yeah.
no. And the maniac, who is called Frank, got mommy issues as well.
Yeah.
Some clear mommy issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a few mom issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm curious, well, what do you think about it, Angel? Was,
I have no
was it
memory.
a first time watch?
Yeah, it was a first time watch. I have no memory of watching the original one. So I was like, alright. Normally I can play something while watching something, but this one was... I couldn't play anything. Like, I got that interested into the movie 5 minutes into it. And that's usually a good sign, like, alright, this is gonna be a good movie. It was a little bit slow at times, but I still enjoyed it. My note was, he got some mad mommy issues, like, damn.
Yeah.
I did like that they used the camera to be like seeing from the killer's point of view all the time.
Yeah.
Major pluses on that. It made it feel like kind of an 80s slasher more than a recent one. So it gets like a soft 5 out of 10. Like, I'm not gonna rush back to watch it, but I could enjoy it while I was watching it. So yeah, that's yeah.
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 Okay, is it my turn?
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I'll get my
No,
coat
okay.
and
Yeah.
head out. No, but like you guys know, I think I've mentioned this like 45 times on the show
Yep.
already.
Yep.
But I usually want my slashers to be fun and bonkers, with inventive kills and fun characters. The Maniac remake doesn't have any of that, really. It's I guess a somewhat realistic depiction of a demented serial killer. And we get to basically see everything through his eyes, and we also get to hear his thoughts. And his thoughts doesn't really make much sense to us as the viewers, I think. Since he's basically in a psychosis. And I think Elijah Wood is fucking brilliant as Frank, and to be perfectly honest, I think he's a lot creepier than Joe Spinell were in the original. There's something really unsettling with him, you know.
Yeah.
He got this man boy look to him. Like he looks so innocent, but you can tell that something is really off with him when you see his reflection in the mirrors and car windows and such.
Yeah.
And you know, he looks innocent, but there's something not right. And the whole movie is just pitch black darkness, basically from the beginning till the end, with some smaller exceptions of light scattered throughout the film here and there. For example, the scenes where Frank is bonding with Anna in the park, and at the theater, some of that scene at least. The whole pitch black darkness, in combination with the grotesque violence in the film, the brilliant performance of Elijah Wood, and the both haunting but also beautiful soundtrack, makes the Maniac remake into one of the few films I think is genuinely unsettling to watch, especially if you take into consideration that what is happening in the film could really happen in real life. And in preparation for this podcast episode, I actually rewatched the original before I rewatched the remake, and I guess if any 80s slasher fanboy is listening to this, I'd probably get hanged by my balls from the closest lamppost, but I think I actually prefer the Maniac remake over the original 1980 movie. I love the original, and I think it's a good watch. But at the same time, I think it's a product of its time. And yeah, sure, I know it's a sin to say something like that about an 80s horror movie, sue me. But I think that everything that the original did right, the remake did even better. But yeah, I guess we will cover the original at some point, so I'll just leave it at that. But those are basically my thoughts on the remake. It's like taking a ride down into hell through the eyes of a demented man, basically.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people gets up in arms about a Serbian film. Sure, that movie got some really graphic violence, and it's pretty horrific and disgusting at some points. But in a Serbian film, you get to watch it as a viewer, while in the Maniac remake, you're more up front into the violence and into the madness, basically. So I actually think that Maniac is the remake, that is a more of an unsettling horror film than a Serbian film is. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Maniac remake. I think it's almost a perfect remake, to be honest. It's up there with The Thing, without a doubt, for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, my rating would be 10 out of 10. without without any without any doubts. It's a really good pick. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. This movie is phenomenal. And
Yeah.
the reason I didn't do a double feature is that I want the original to have an episode of its own. Because that's a pretty damn good movie too.
Yeah, it is. But like I said, it's a product of its time.
Yeah.
So comparing the both movies back to back, it's
It's not fair.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a kind of different movie too, because in this movie you're so you get to see it through his eyes,
Yeah,
and they tell the story very differently.
yeah. But what are your thoughts about it?
I think it's amazing. It grabs your attention like right away with the creepy atmosphere, the music, and the fact that you get to see it through the killer's eyes, and you get to hear his thoughts. And Elijah Wood's acting is incredible in this movie. Like you can like you can hear the tension in his voice when he talks. Like even when he's stable, like you can hear that he's always almost close to like breaking down,
Yeah,
and he's just so awkward in a way.
yeah. I was thinking about that as well this time around. He's what's the word? He's having a hard time speaking to other people, and you can tell by just listening to him.
Yeah, like you can hear his voice is shaking when he's talking to other people, because he sounds very insecure,
Yeah,
and he's always like very close to snapping. And when it does snap, it's terrifying. When he starts screaming at his mom. Just for when he kills those girls.
yeah. The basic thing with that is that, well, but it basically he sees his own mom. It's his mom that he murders,
Yeah,
but it's really not.
Yeah.
yeah. And he somehow justifies it by making her like that she made him do it. So he kind of justifies his own deed by that way.
Yeah.
It's just it's a very dark movie. There's no. That's kind of what I like about this movie is that there is no comic relief, and there's just. It keeps the focus of being like a story about a serial killer and a very dark movie. And it has that unsettling atmosphere throughout. And I think the end, and I loved the ending too, because it's so horrifying. Like the
Yeah,
final.
yeah. The spoiler alert. Frank kills himself during a massive psychosis.
Yeah.
And I think that ending is pretty fitting, if you take everything else into consideration, because he's on the verge of collapsing mentally throughout the film.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a clear 10 out of 10 for me. I've seen this movie like 100 times, and I'll watch it 100 times more. It's one of my favorite horror movies.
Holy shit. I've only seen it like 4 times. But yeah,
I've maybe seen it like 10 times or something.
yeah, well, that's more than what I've seen it. So, another aspect of the film that I really like with it is that it doesn't try to glorify. It doesn't try to glorify the violence nor the aspect of murdering someone. It's up in your face. Like this is how it probably would look like.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, when you watch a Serbian film, you watch it from a distance, while here you get it thrown straight into your face.
Yeah. It makes you feel like you're actually killing those girls.
Yeah. And like the first kill of the film, spoiler alert, the girl that gets the knife up through her mouth.
Yeah.
The first time I was watching this film, I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck happened?" Because
yeah, that was actually my reaction while watching. I was like, "Damn!"
Yeah, it doesn't. Like that kill comes from out of nowhere, and it doesn't hold back throughout the film. I mean, it sets the bar with that kill, and then it just staggers up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just builds up more and more and more. Gets more and more violent and gruesome.
Yeah. Also, the chase scenes are really good in this movie.
Yeah.
Like every chase scene, especially the first one on the train station, and also when he's stalking that mom. Like there's so much tension in those scenes.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty interesting, since there shouldn't be any suspense really in those scenes, but there are. Since you know where Frank is, because you are Frank essentially. But they've managed to build up suspense, even though we know exactly where Frank are.
Yeah. So I think my favorite. I mean, do you guys have any favorite scenes? It's pretty. I can't really pick out a favorite scene because there's so many. Like there's so many particular scenes that are great in their own way. Like like the chase scene in the train station, but also when he's stalking.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, my favorite scene is probably, honestly, the first kill is probably my favorite scene, but I just like seeing death, so.
I thought you were gonna say the finale, because it's so.
I mean, yeah, it's good, but I mean, it's not a subtle stab to the head. It's like, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I think the chase scene throughout the train station, a subway station, it is, and the whole sequence of him running after her, or rather walking after her, really, and then when he hides under the car.
Yeah.
And what happens after that? I mean, that's. I think that's the biggest ouch moment of the entire film, really. And it just builds tension, and I think that's my favorite scene out of the movie. But another scene I really like is the scene after Frank has murdered Anna's whatever she was, that woman that takes a bath. Agent.
Yeah, her agent.
Yeah. And he goes over to Anna's place to comfort her and, be there for her. And he starts to babble on about the other girls, and you can just, by her expression, tell that she realizes that, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in this apartment with a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, that scene is really striking as well.
Yeah, he's desperately trying to like smooth talk.
Yeah, but he, he basically just makes everything worse.
Yeah, like she knew.
Yeah. But what do you guys think about his, well, mommy issues, really? I mean, they don't really explain it that much why he has them. From what I understood, she was basically just out partying and fucking random men she picked up on at the bar, and that was his reasoning.
Yeah, they don't show enough.
They really don't.
Like they don't. Yeah, they. Like you kind of get why. Yeah, that because she's a prostitute and like a drug addict, and that's the reason he became a killer. But it doesn't explain like why he scalps the victim. Or so much with the mannequins, except that he used to work there.
Yeah.
I think it might be something like he wants to preserve them, because I think he's in one scene one of the victims says, "Please don't kill me," and he answers with, "I'm not gonna kill you, I'm gonna preserve you," or something like that, and that's why he scalps them.
Yeah.
Because in his psychosis, the mannequins becomes the girls he nails the scalps on.
Yeah.
Or women, I should say.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Well, it's pretty vague what his reasoning for murdering the women, but he probably had some sort of mental disability or something before his mother died or something.
Yeah.
And her death became like a catalyst for his killing spree.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Like maybe he killed her too. We never got to find out what happened to her really.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't.
Just know she died. Also, another thing this movie does very well is it respects the original.
Yeah, it does.
Like the whole like the whole train station scene, for example, where he after he scalps her, you get a shot of him, you know, holding a knife and a scalp,
Yeah.
and that's the cover of the first movie.
Yeah, that's the cover art for the original. I picked up on that one.
Yeah,
I was
and
I was like, oh, the original film's front cover, cool.
yeah, and that whole chase scene is very similar to a chase scene in the first movie,
Yeah.
but it ends a bit differently. But it's very similar. It's the same setting.
Yeah. Well, the remake picks elements from the original film, but it makes its own film, really.
Yeah, it puts a new twist on it.
Yeah.
And it turns it into something new.
Mm.
So, was that it?
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, we haven't even touched on the music in the movie.
Oh yeah,
What do you guys think of it?
best soundtrack ever.
Okay, that was short and sweet.
Yeah, well, it's amazing. I like the fact that they're using 80s music because the original is from the 80s, but it takes place, you know, in present day.
Yeah.
I like the mix, and the soundtrack just amplifies the atmosphere tenfold.
Mm. Yeah, I really like the soundtrack, and if anyone is interested in listening to it, it's actually up on YouTube.
Yeah,
So,
you should definitely listen to it. It's so good.
It's both haunting, but it's also beautiful at the same time, and I think that's a pretty hard feat to do.
Yeah,
And it fits the... Well, it fits the film.
yeah, it does really well. And not only does it fit the film, it amplifies it.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much better.
Mm.
Did you like the soundtrack, Angel?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
Mm.
And for those who don't wonder, Angel isn't as much of a music nerd as me and Ogge.
No.
Yeah,
But yeah, I really feel that the music builds on, it makes the movie even better than it is.
yeah. A bit of trivia is that the music from this movie and from the movie Drive was what was made the synthwave genre huge.
It was?
Like after this, yeah, it was mainly Drive,
Oh.
of course, but yeah,
Huh. I didn't know that, actually.
yeah. Well, this movie sure helped, but the main reason was the soundtrack from the music Drive that was made by Kavinsky, which basically brought it to the mainstream, sort of,
Oh,
or well, made it huge.
okay. The more you know.
Yeah. And after that, the present became the 80s.
But yeah, I try to think. I don't think I have that much else to say about it. Really, it's one of the best films from the 2010s, without a doubt, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not a movie for everyone. If you can't stand the, very gruesome violence in movies, it's you should perhaps choose something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sure not for everybody, but it's one of the most horrifying horror movies, which to me is the point of watching a horror movie. Like you watch something with horror for horror,
Yeah.
and it's more of a psychological. Even though it is very very violent, but the horror is really like the psychological aspects of it.
It got some psychological angles to it, sure, but the main focus is the gore. And it is a slasher movie. So,
Yeah. You could say it has both,
Yeah.
both psychological and violent horror.
yeah. And that's the brilliance of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So.
Should we
Should we
move?
move on?
Yeah, should we move into background, perhaps?
Yeah.
I got mostly snippets from reviews, actually. Do you have anything, Ogge?
I accidentally just said it.
Oh,
The soundtrack and how it based on watching the first movie.
okay.
So I fucked up.
No, it's okay. Okay, so the budget was about $6 million, and the movie grossed worldwide about, just a little bit over $2.6 million. So I guess that's the reason why we didn't get a sequel. It
Oh.
basically bombed at the box office. But on the other hand, I'm not very surprised either. Since how graphic the movie is, most people doesn't wanna go to the cinema to watch movies like this.
I mean, a lot of people are way more sensitive these days than they were in the 80s.
Yeah, and this movie was released at the dawn of the haunted house era we are in right now.
Yeah.
So I guess that
They messed up a little bit.
yeah. But yeah, the screenplay was written by Alexandre Arsha, who also produced the film, together with Gregory Levasseur, I think you pronounce his last name like that, who had worked with Aisha on films such as High Tension, Switchblade Romance. The Hills Have Eyes remake from 2006, Mirrors, and Crawl, and also Piranha 3D. So that explains why the movie is such so violent as it is. The director Frank, Jesus Christ, Calhoun, also directed the Amityville sequel, The Awakening, in 2017. And he also appeared in Piranha 3D as I can't remember who was deputy or sheriff, whatever. And he also appeared in High Tension and Switchblade Romance as Jimmy, the gas station attendant who gets murdered in that film. That's the director of this film. And Elijah Wood, I guess he's probably best known as Frodo in the Lord of the Rings films. But he also appeared in 2 other horror movies throughout his career, up until this point, I guess. The first one being The Faculty from 1999, a Robert Rodriguez sci-fi horror flick. It's really good if you haven't seen it. And Cooties from 2014. I think you saw that one with me, Angel.
Yeah, I talked about wanting to watch it, and we watched it.
Yeah. It's about a school where the kids starts to turn into zombies, okay? And they start to try to eat the teachers. It's really fun. Watch. You should check that one out. Mr. Wood also narrated a story on the horror podcast, the No Sleep Podcast, in 2019. I really enjoyed that story that he narrated, actually. I'm following that podcast. And the director of the original 1980 film, William Lustig, had a producer credit on this remake as well. And like I said, most of the background I got is snippets from reviews, so I'm just gonna rattle through a couple of them. A quote from Front Row Reviews that states that it called it the remake one of the strongest and most beautiful classic horror stories of our generation, visually and audibly stunning. Megan Lehman, who watched the film at the Cannes Film Festival for the Hollywood Reporter, wrote in her review, Wood's limpid saucer eyes are used here to telegraph unhinged bloodlust and insanity, even if only sporadically, as he plays a sicko with mommy issues who scalps his female victims. The twist and what helps elevate the nasty, no-holds-barred maniac from the grindhouse to an out-of-competition midnight screening slot in Cannes is that the entire movie is shot from the killer's POV. We only glimpse Wood in reflection and in photographs. It's a daring decision, potentially stripping the film of the suspense of not knowing where the killer is and obliquely inviting the audience to have empathy with him. For the most part, Calhoun and cinematographer Maxime Alexandre pull it off, although the technique more than once tips over from inventively arty to film school grad pretentious. Slasher movie fans, however, need not to be put off by the stylized camera work and arty patina. this is down and dirty genre filmmaking and the various slaughters, excruciatingly detailed scalpings and other atrocities are no less gruesome because of the high fault-in approach. The movie is essentially a sadistic art house bloodbath with opera music and ballet dancers and funky little art galleries. Jesus Christ, that was a mouthful. And a reviewer for Sci-Fi Now praised the film's quote-unquote fresh and challenging approach. And he said Calhoun's version is arguably a more troubling piece of work than its predecessor. By forcing us to see through the eyes of a man who brutally murders women, the issues of voyeurism and misogyny rear their ugly heads before you've even settled in. Maniac is certainly brutal and gory, but it's the manner in which the violence is presented that really turns the stomach. This unsavory but powerful trick is contrasted by the decision to switch out the grimy nighttime world of 80s New York for the neon landscape of Los Angeles, complete with a superb synth-heavy soundtrack that makes the film feel more like Nicholas Winding Refn's Drive, yeah, like you mentioned, Ogge, than anything from the gloomy Platinum Dunes remake, Stable, or the winking throwbacks of the Grindhouse movies. Daniel Krupa reviewed the film for the IGN website, and he called it violent, gruesome, shocking, and extremely cruel. But he also said, also entertaining, darkly amusing, smart, and impeccably well made. The first person point of view filming, he said, is not an idle stylistic flourish, though, since it has a serious impact on how the audience experiences the movie. It's uncomfortable and queasy stuff, but it occasionally achieves a kind of weird beauty. Okay, I got 3 more here. The ScreenRant.com review called the film a solid revival of a genre that's gone rather stale in the last decade, and said, with its throwback synthesizer score, sustained point-of-view shots, and shadowy lighting, the preview certainly evokes a sense of gut-churning dread. Wood's acting was praised as well. Though this isn't the first time Wood has played a serial killer, the trailer makes it clear that this isn't simply a rehash of his wordless, goggle-eyed performance as Kevin in SimCity. With a voice that mixes breathy, genuinely unsettling obsession with a childlike honesty, Wood's interpretation of Frank looks to be a new creature entirely. New Empress magazine criticized the film, saying, the digital cinematography by Maxime Alexandre uses an annoyingly stylized gloss over a lot of the potential scuzziness, leaving downtown Los Angeles as industrial and neglected, but not foreboding, creating an atmosphere reminiscent of a video game. The aesthetic choices also make the murders seem unreal and even pixelated, with a blotchy and heightened crimson color accompanying every scalping. Such a pity then that the opportunity for a truly horrifying cinematic experience has been botched through odd directional choices by Frank Calhoun and photography that creates style over substance, reducing the impact of a serial killer with so much potential to horrify and disturb us. Okay, that reviewer needs to get fired. And the last thing I got here is that Calhoun said that the audience members have vomited and fainted. He took those reactions as a compliment, and he explained, "We had a screening here in Los Angeles, and somebody passed out, which I pat myself on the back for. The movie had to creep on you. It's a different kind of fear. It's more of a nauseating fear. You really have the opportunity to maybe feel the nausea of committing crime rather than glorifying it just for the aspect of fun and thrill. The audience gets to experience for the first time how sick it is to commit murder. We're certainly not condoning it, but making a real statement about serial killers." That's the last thing I got. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we have had some technical difficulties, so hopefully this will sound good when we're releasing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it then, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't have
I think-
much else to say, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here.
We are playing out with... I've done a little special thing like I did for the Christmas episode last year and the Friday the 13th Part 5 episode. I've taken 3 songs from the soundtrack of Maniac. All 3 are produced by a guy called Rob. And those songs are Wedding Maze, Floor Light, and Floor. And I've done a mashup of them. So the outro will be a bit long this episode, but yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. So, on that bombshell, I think it's time to say goodbye to the good people.
What's the next pick?
It is As Above, So Below.
Is it your pick?
Yeah, that's my pick.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. As above, so below.
Oh wait, let's see. As above, yeah, as above, so below. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I've had a really hard time remembering the title.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
Now it's time to say goodbye, Ogge.
Okay. Okay. Goodbye, good people.
Goodbye, good fun. Yeah, good. Goodbye, good people.
Would have been more fun if you just ended on that. Yeah, goodbye, good folks. Hopefully we'll hear from you in the next episode. Take care, everyone. Goodbye
Yeah.
and good night.
Take care.